can't stop crying. I literally can't stop crying. I can't even ... That's what people were saying in his farewell speech, Obama's farewell speech, where he used more time than Reagan, Bush, and Clinton combined, and didn't do it from the White House. He rented a convention center, this community organizer, and just talked about himself and cried about how much he loves Michelle. And these liberals just eat it up. They think Obama was a great president. They think he added millions of jobs. He did all this great stuff for the environment. Oh, healthcare was a raging success. It's amazing how brainwashed they are, especially when you go to California and the West Coast and you just go, don't you guys have access to Google? What is this, Tiananmen Square? You can't look up stuff? So here are 10 reasons why Obama was the worst president ever. And let's start with race relations. All Americans agree, not all, the majority of Americans agree that things are way worse now. This is because he keeps using this red carpet of victimhood and says, you know, slavery wasn't that long ago. That's what he said in his farewell speech. These folks are just trying to organize. Black Lives Matter is just trying to organize. You purport this myth that we live in this racist country, that the Western world is evil and racist, and there's these cops on hills, big fat boss hog. Hey, Sandra Bland didn't use her fucking indicator. Pfft, she's dead now. How's that for an indicator, bitch? And dumb people want to riot when you say that. And you don't chastise them. You say, these folks are just trying to get organized. Look at Dallas, that black protester who shot that black protester at Dallas, where a Black Panther killed 5 cops, shot them dead. That's Obama's mess, because he keeps justifying this. He keeps doing if Trayvon was my son, doesn't talk about the mentally handicapped kid who was tortured for being a Trump supporter, because that doesn't fit the narrative. And the narrative, if anything, Obama's presidency was the presidency of the narrative. That will be his legacy, where we all saw how totally out of control the narrative can get. Hands up. He had his hands up. He didn't have his hands up. That riot wasn't justified, but you let it happen. So that blood is on your hands, Barack Obama, you pig. Number 2, the economy. Yeah, liberals say he brought us 5 million jobs. He started with a brutal recession. I'll give you that. But you're supposed to rebound after a recession, and we had the worst recovery ever. America's very good at maintaining a 45-degree angle. The West is pretty good at that. But eventually, you have these guys that give it a hit. The Great Depression was a hit. We survived. We keep going up and up and up. And Obama was a hit, just like the Great Depression. There was a good article in the Post that said, moreover, deep recessions, such as the 1981-82 one, that caused people to cut way back, are generally followed by booming rebounds. This one wasn't. Far from turbocharging the economy, the stimulus was such a dud that 5 years after the recovery began, 72% of Americans said in a poll they thought they were still in a recession. Then they quote Michael Grable of ProPublica. The stimulus ultimately failed to do what America expected it to do, bring about a strong, sustainable recovery. He didn't bail out the banks. He rewarded failure. Oh, he got us the auto industry. No, he rewarded failure. Now we have this incredibly expensive debt with the auto industry. He keeps throwing money at the problem. And he's screwed Trump, by the way, by keeping these interest rates so low. We're about to hit a massive wave of inflation. And these 5 million jobs he created, what jobs? Solyndra, the $500 million he spent on Solyndra, and they went bankrupt. You know, they said Maggie Thatcher was terrible for employment because there was all these layoffs when she came into office. Yeah, she killed stupid government jobs that weren't generating anything for the economy. Unemployment is down for Obama. Yeah, that's true, because we have unprecedented numbers leaving the workforce. This is Obamanomics in a nutshell. He buys jeans for $150 that are $200 off, and he says, hey, I made $200 today. That's not how economic works, Barry. Number 3, Obamacare. Healthcare.gov. How expensive was that? I think we destroyed the Nazis in less time and with less money than it took to build healthcare.gov. Yes, more people are covered than ever because you made it illegal not to. They have to pay fines if they don't sign up for Obamacare. And you know what a lot of young people are doing? They're just paying the fines. The deductibles are so expensive, you don't really have health care. It's like catastrophe insurance. All the normal stuff you do, a blood test here, $500. If it's under $500, these people end up paying for it anyway. That's not that they're covered. And the scam, Dinesh D'Souza explains this, the scam was, I'm going to force all these people to sign up, and then you give me a discount. So they got all the people, and then Aetna goes, we're not giving you a discount. They pulled out of the exchanges. Reducing options and insurers in most markets raised their premiums. Number 4, the environment. Yes, he's done a lot for the environment. He's taken tons of our money to fight global warming without proving that this global warming is a real thing. We are making up for China and Russia and all these other people with their carbon footprints. How naive can you be? Solyndra sums it up perfectly for me. These solar panels that do more harm than good. And by the way, electric car people, you know you're using coal, right? I could go on for days about the myths of environmentalism, but what's more important, I think, is we have ethical oil here. Canada wants to send a pipeline down. We can frack. And you go, no, it's dangerous. Let's continue to get oil from places that throw gays off buildings and stone rape victims to death. Let's continue to send our boys off to war so we can get that oil. He doesn't want energy independence. He wants the narrative to continue. Number 5, that brings us to our disastrous foreign policy. Hey, if Syria uses chemical weapons, I'm going to draw a line in the sand. Syria uses chemical weapons. He goes, we should negotiate. Thereby telling the Middle East that we're wimps and empowering more terrorism, more ISIS, which he calls ISIL. Anyone who uses ISIL is an asshole. The Iran deal was a mess. We're learning now that they got, $10 billion in the past 4 years because they need nuclear power. I don't understand, by the way, why they need nuclear power. And why didn't you get the hostages released? That was a really bad deal. Trump's right. Benghazi, that's your fault. Gaddafi wanted to negotiate. Hillary said no, and you let her go. You hire all these women, and then you let the hens loose, and they create catastrophes. Charlene Lamb and Valerie Jarrett capitulating to Bill Clinton. Loretta Lynch. You let Valerie Jarrett take over the White House. In fact, I should be making this list about Valerie Jarrett. She's the boss over there. But so that leaves all these, Libya's in a total state of chaos. All the refugees go up, ruin Europe. That's your fault. You ruined Germany. And Benghazi happened under your watch. That's your fault too. And they say, well, he's got a great approval rating. Yeah, wonderful, by women. And all these countries love him. Yeah, loser countries like France. I don't care what Denmark thinks of America. I care what Russia and China think of America, and they're not impressed. Number 6, the scandals. I like how Obama is so proud of himself for not screwing an intern. He goes, I had a scandal-free presidency. Yeah, you kind of did have a scandal-free presidency because the press refuses to report on your scandals. Remember John Roberts during the Reverend Wright scandal going, we're in a scandal-free zone, and then they focus on Sarah Palin's wardrobe? That happened Obama's entire presidency, with reporters getting chills up their legs because they're so excited. There was plenty of scandals with Obama. How about the IRS targeting conservatives? This whole list is a series of scandals. Number 7, how about this scandal? You lost Congress, dummy. I actually like you screwing up and blowing this because it shows how terrible you are at your job, and it gave us Congress. They stopped you. That's a stopgap we have in power to catch people who are totally out of control. It's like a guardrail on the side of the highway catching drunk drivers. And Congress stopped you from enacting even worse deals, even more Solyndras. And then we heard complaints from the left. Congress is stopping him. Thomas Friedman wanted to turn America into China for a year. So Mao, say, Obama could institute his Great Leap Forward, kill 50 million people, and then we could be America again. And now, by the way, have you noticed this? These celebrities are saying, Congress, you need to stop Trump. So they complain about Congress stopping things when it's Obama, and they demand that Congress stop things when it's Trump. God, you're annoying. That brings us to number 8, education. You don't like charter schools. Here's education, dummies. Spending, 45-degree test scores. That's because of socialism. That's mostly a black thing. White test scores have kind of been going up. But what you did is you fractured the black family. You incentivized single moms. We lost discipline at home. We got idle hands. Black schools are a mess. Charter schools are the free market coming in there and going, all right, what's the problem here? Discipline? We got discipline. Run laps. Do push-ups. Black test scores start going up. You go, no, I don't like it because it's not a public school. You didn't build that. Even Juan Williams, the guy whose job it is to jump in with the wolves at Fox and defend you, called your hatred of charter schools the outrageous sins against our kids. But now we have got Betsy DeVos for education secretary, and she's going to fix this problem. Number 9, this one's a biggie, Islam. ISIL. God, asshole. You send NASA out to tell Arabs how wonderful they are at math. Can you put a man on the moon? I like that better. I don't like NASA going around as a PR company that makes Arabs feel good. You got Bob Bergdahl, the father of a traitor with his big Islamic beard, getting out there and saying in Arabic, putting his flag on the White House lawn and saying, "In the name of Allah, the merciful, the compassionate." You won't call it Islamic terrorism. You talk about the Crusades and say they're mad because of the Crusades. That one made my jaw drop, actually. And that happens to me a few times a year. When Sean King said, "Yo, I'm one of the blackest, I got people saying I'm the blackest person," they know. I went, with the audacity, sometimes you get involuntary muscle loss. And we're not allowed to make up, we can't insult the Prophet of Islam. You say that they hate you because of your name. You are the problem. You enable terrorism. When we are America and we go out and we kick ass and we're tough, it ensures that we're the lead. We're the head guy in the prison. If you're not the head guy in the prison, someone else becomes the head guy in the prison. You've created a vacuum where Islam has moved in. And we've seen what Islam has done to Europe. We've seen what it's done to Britain. We don't want that done here. We don't want America to become Dearborn, Michigan, and you are completely blind to it. Just like you enabled these BLM riots, you enabled this terrorism by refusing to recognize it. It's not workplace violence. And that brings us to number 10, political correctness. What were they, the Washington Redskins? I think they should change the name. Or when you enable Title IX, what you do is you justify all these purple-haired idiots who are getting people fired. That's the way you act. You make America politically correct when you whine about racism like it's half a century ago. And that enables more violence, more problems, more unemployment. Title IX is a great example of this. Okay, I'm going to give schools money to fight rape because frat boys are raping everyone. So what you've done is you've incentivized rapists now. You need to find rapists. So they invent these Sharia courts where they ruin college students' lives based on this myth that 1 in 4 women are going to get raped. I can't wait for that to be done because I believe, as Breitbart said, that politics is downstream from the culture. And you've had 10 years of victim culture. Well, we're not taking it anymore. We're going to make America great again. And you know what's going to happen after that? With Brexit and Canada and Italexit, we're going to make the Western world great again. Bye, Obama. Dry eye in the house. Hi, folks. That was a Rebel Media short. I have my own show on Rebel Media called How's It Going? You got to pay for that one. Check it out right here.